So today, we're diving into the life of Miyoko Kamiya. Now, she's this absolutely remarkable figure whose groundbreaking work on Ikigai, the Japanese concept of the meaning of life, is famous. But what's maybe even more incredible is the story of the life she had to live to figure it all out. Okay, so first, let's just look at her resume, because it is staggering. She was a renowned psychiatrist, a celebrated author, and a translator for the Allied forces after World War II. On top of that, she was a master of at least 6 languages. We're talking ancient Greek here too. And as if that wasn't enough, she was a pioneer in the psychiatric research of leprosy. I mean, we are talking about a mind of truly rare and diverse brilliance. But, when you look at her private diaries, they reveal a completely different picture. Behind all that genius was a life of just profound internal conflict. She talks about feeling constantly torn apart between her duties, her passions, and what she actually called her demons. These super powerful impulses for science, art, and religion that were pulling her in every direction at once. And that really brings us to the core question here, right? How does a life filled with so much intense struggle and contradiction lead to one of the most influential philosophies on finding meaning and purpose? It just seems impossible. So to figure that out, we've got to go back to the beginning. Okay, so to really get her work, you first have to understand the deep, deep contradictions that defined her whole life. It was this constant push and pull between who she felt she was and who the world was demanding her to be. Now, her life's mission, it didn't start in some university lecture hall or quiet library. No, not at all. It began with a single, shocking encounter when she was just 19 years old. And this one moment, it completely changed the entire course of her life. So, the story goes, her uncle asked her to visit a leprosy sanatorium, Tamazen Shoin, just to play the organ. Simple enough, right? But she knew basically nothing about the disease. And what she saw there, the sight of the patients, it was this profound, head-on confrontation with a level of human suffering she couldn't have even imagined was possible. You can just feel the shock in her diary entry from that day. This wasn't just feeling sorry for people. No, this was something that fundamentally challenged her entire understanding of the world. She literally wrote that her very existence felt shaken to its core. And right there, in that one moment, she found this absolute crystal clarity. This was it. This was her calling. But that newfound purpose immediately put her on a collision course with her family. They were so strongly against it that she was actually forced to give up her dream of becoming a doctor. And that was just the first of so many battles. For decades, really, her life would be defined by this internal war. A constant, draining struggle to juggle her inner callings, what she called her demons, with all of her external duties. You can see that conflict laid out so clearly here. I mean, on one side, you've got this burning, almost obsessive sense of mission she had. And then on the other side, all the immense pressures of being a wife, a mother of 2, and, just the practical financial need to work as a translator and a teacher in post-war Japan. And this timeline, wow, it really drives home the cost of that conflict. Just think about this. After a brief bit of training back in 1943, it took 13 long years before she could finally get back to the leprosy sanatorium and pursue her true calling. 13 years of raising kids, teaching, doing translation work, all while her mission was on hold. And her frustration during this time, it's almost painful to read in her journals. She felt like her incredible gift for languages had somehow become a curse, like a trap that was keeping her from the one thing she felt she was meant to do. But here's the thing. Even in all that despair, that sense of mission never, ever went away. It just kept burning just as intensely as ever, creating this immense, relentless pressure. She was convinced she had this unique contribution to make, a psychiatric work that only she could do, and she could feel the clock ticking. So, how did she ever resolve this conflict? Well, this is the crucial part of her story. She didn't just endure her suffering, she transformed it. She literally used that internal war raging inside her as the raw material for her philosophy. It's like she forged her theory of Ikigai in the very fires of the sanatorium and her own personal struggle. Her path to understanding Ikigai wasn't some abstract academic exercise. It was built piece by piece from her direct, lived experience. For instance, that agonizing guilt she felt every time she left her children. That taught her a core lesson. that a mission powerful enough to give your life meaning often demands profound personal sacrifice. And then, by absorbing her patient's pain, she actually called herself a garbage dump for emotions. She learned that our Ikigai is so often found in satisfying the needs of others. And all of this led to her most profound insight, that real, deep joy isn't found in being comfortable. It's found in growth, in resisting stagnation, and using your unique gifts to face the abyss head-on.
And this entire intense process, it all culminated in her masterpiece on the meaning of life. And you have to understand, this book wasn't written from some ivory tower, not at all. It was written from the front lines of human suffering, both her patients and her very own. Her big argument is that Ikigai isn't just some vague happy feeling. It's the profound sense that your life is satisfying deep human needs for yourself and for others. It's that sweet spot where your personal mission aligns with what the world needs from you, a purpose that's so often forged and made crystal clear in the very struggles we try to avoid.
So, at the end of the day, Miko Kamiya's legacy isn't about a simple set of answers. It's really about a deeper way of looking at the human condition. And what she leaves us with isn't a solution, but a powerful question to carry forward. It's pretty amazing. In her later years, she wrote with this incredible humility. I mean, after a whole lifetime spent confronting the biggest questions there are, what was her conclusion? That she had only just begun to understand how much she didn't understand. That her entire life's work was really just to realize the true depth of the mystery. And this brings us to the final, really provocative thought she leaves us all with. She didn't find meaning in spite of her suffering, or by escaping it. She found meaning in her suffering. And so her life really turns the question back on every one of us. If meaning can be forged in that kind of profound conflict, what can you learn from the challenges in your own life?